Hello designers! I'm super excited about today's project. We are going to create a gorgeous mountain-themed wedding invitation in Google Docs. What? Yes, Google Docs. I said it twice. This means not only do you not need expensive designer software, you don't even need software. You need an internet browser and a free Google account. Google Docs is going to have a few limitations which I'll address as we're designing. But for the most part, I think you'll find that you can create something really beautiful and lovely and elegant and that can rival anything else you're going to see on the market. Meet me in Google Docs. Let's get started. So we're going to go, if you Google Google Docs, it'll take you to this page. So go to Google Docs and we're going to hit start a new document, blank, that plus sign. The first thing we want to do is go up to File, Page Setup. Nope, Page Setup. And we're going to make this landscape because we're going to fit both our sides of our invitation. And for the margins, let's change all these to 0.25. You can tab in there, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. These are fine. And hit OK. All right, so we're set up correctly. Now we're going to insert, go up to Insert, a table. Just a 2x1. I love how they do this now. So you're going to color those two blue squares and click on that. There's your table. And this is going to be our guidelines for cutting, for layout, everything. Now make sure when you're selecting the table, just color both those squares, Format, Table, and all the way at the bottom, you're going to see Table Properties. Okay, so for our border, we're going to go, I prefer 0.25, but they'll only let us do 0.5. And then I'm going to do this fourth from the right. And that can stay white. Yes, that's fine. So column, very important. 5, it's the width of our invitation. And 7, this is one of the limitations I was telling you about, is that it'll give you a minimum row height. So we're going to make sure, I'll point out to you as we go along, that row height doesn't get above 7 because we need that. And cell padding is always 0. We don't want any monkey business on the inside. Left is good, and we'll hit OK. So there we go. You can see our perfect size. I feel like I have an extra return in here or something. Maybe not. Okay. I just did the type we were going to use for this invitation in a simple document and pasted it in. So the first thing we're going to do is select all of this and we're going to center it. And one trick I love to use for elegant invitations is under Format, go to Text and go down to Capitalization, and we're going to do uppercase. And I've picked out a font that I like. Now, it's called Spectral. Google has so many fonts, and I'll show you just in a minute how to find them. Spectral has a little bit of air between the letters. That's another Google limitation, is we can't fix the tracking of the letters, which is the space in between the letters. But I like this font. I don't think it's going to make a difference for this invitation. It's still going to look elegant and nice. Let's do Spectral Normal. Okay, that's good. And this is way too big for a wedding invitation. It's going to feel funny to you if you've only used documents for letters, formal business documents, those kind of things. But let's take this down. Just click on our minus sign to 9. And that feels good. Now we can't adjust the space between the letters, but we can adjust the space between the lines. So let's highlight this. Format. We're going to use this so much right now. Line spacing, and go over to custom spacing. And instead of 1, I'm going to do 1, 2, 5. And that's going to be for everything. So you just get a little bit of air there. It's going to make it look so much nicer. Now, one thing beginning designers love to do is they love to, well, all designers can kind of be guilty of this. They love to do too much. So we're going to keep this really simple, but we're going to do not too simple. So we're going to do just 2 fonts. And so what I'm going to do to make this easier on us is I'm going to click on this 2 and cut it out. Let me show you what I've done here. You can go up to edit and hit cut, but you need to learn your shortcuts because it's going to be so much faster. So it's Command X, okay? So I'm going to cut this too, click on the bottom of the text, do a couple of returns and paste it there. And then we're also going to make, these are going to be 3 little elements that are different. The name of the venue, we're going to highlight that, and reception to follow, the last line. We're going to put these in a really pretty script. So let's just leave these here for now. I want to focus on the most important in terms of design hierarchy, which is who's most important, the bride and the groom for sure. So let's go ahead and I'm going to take that return out for now. This also ensures that the bride and the groom have the exact same font. You don't want to chance it. So we're going to keep it spectral, but what we're going to do is make it a lot larger. So let's go 18, let's go 20. And now here's where I'm going to cheat my tracking dilemma. Put your cursor between the J and the E, and I'm just going to put a space. I'm going to space between all these letters and an extra space between the first and middle name. Do the same with the groom. All right, lovely. This just gives them a little bit more importance. So now let's go down to my second most important, my little script stars. Highlight those, and then let me show you real quick. So see this more fonts? Google has an astounding amount of fonts. I spent a lot of time going through as many script fonts as I could find. You can search by display, like sort of fancy. Handwriting is where you'll find a lot of your script fonts. Serif with feet, sans serif without feet. So I found a script font I really liked. You can also search by name if you want to see if they have something. Let's go back to all, make sure you have all fonts. And the script I wanted was Mrs. St. Delafield. I think that's right. Okay. And so now I'm going to change this to, I know I have it, right? I might have just, give me just a second, more fonts. There we go. Okay. Let's highlight them again, sorry. And let's see, there it is, Mrs. St. Delafield. Okay, now I definitely, let's bring this up. Let's just use our plus button and go to about 16 for now. They're all gonna be different. And I don't want these all caps here. I can't even read that. So we're gonna go format text again, and we'll do the opposite, capitalization. This time, and do everything in lowercase just for contrast and sort of a nice style of the day. Okay, so let's double click and highlight that too, and let's cut it again. And right after the bride's name, we're gonna put that in there. And that's too small. So let's go, what do we wanna make 2? Pretty big actually. I'm gonna click on this and just type in 34. Okay, I like that. But obviously we have a spacing issue. Let's put a space on top here for a second. This should be a block, sort of your intro type, and then this should be your next block, your bride and groom. So let's go back to our format, line spacing. This is going to be what you use the most if you want to design in something like Google Docs. And we're going to make this, instead of 1.25, let's take it really small and go 0.5. And that just feels a lot better. I actually like that. Now we gotta create some space up here. We've got space under the groom's name, but let's click on this and back up, line spacing, custom spacing. We're going to keep the line spacing the same, but this time we're going to add, let's see, let's try 10 before, 10 points. So that's feeling a lot better to me. And I'm going to go ahead and try to, this feels a little larger than under here. We want to keep this space the same and this space the same. So let's click on this line and go back and do the same thing. Line spacing, custom spacing, and we're gonna do, I don't think we need 10 though. Let's just try 4 here. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now, do we feel like this space is the same as this? I think it looks pretty good, actually. And I want to double check that. Let's see, line spacing, custom spacing. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Oh, it's looking so pretty already. Let's put a space in here, and we'll grab the name of our resort, highlight it, cut it, paste it. Your paste is your Command V. It's pretty much the same in any layout format. Now this needs to be a lot bigger because we can't read it. So let's try 24. That's a little too big. So let's go down this time. Let's go to 20. That feels better. And now we've got way too much space under here. So I'm going to highlight this one. Am I going to highlight this one? Let's highlight this one because we want to fix the spacing around here. A lot of this, remember, is trial and error. You have to do a lot of sort of nudging and trying out numbers and things, but that's part of the fun, right? Let's try our 0.5 with here. It seems kind of small, but I think it's going to work. It's too small. So go back, format, line spacing, custom spacing, 0.75 we're going to do. That feels good here, but we need some space equal to this space here. So let's go ahead and try, I'm going to try 10 again and see how that works. 10. Yes, I like that. So we've got a block here, and then we have our last little line of text on its own block. I don't know why in a lot of these layout programs it always wants to default to left. We're going to go center, and this is too much space, so let's go ahead and take this paragraph out as well, and we'll do our same thing. Format, line spacing, custom spacing. You getting the feel for this yet? And let's do, oh boy, let's try 6. Yeah, I like it. So there's your type. There's just one more thing to do. This is going to be this sort of ethereal mountain wedding invitation, and I don't want heavy black type. That's better for like an upscale black tie. So I have picked out a color already, and that color, it's a hex color, 9DC1AC. There we go. So I have sort of this mint green. It's so nice. It's a little darker than your average mint. It's got some gray in it, so it's a little heavier. It'll print well. And so that's our type. Now we're ready to add our mountains. All right, let's start at the end of your text, put a return in, and we're going to go to Insert, Image. I found an image I love from vecteasy.com. I'll post to it below. This is with the Pro license, which is really reasonable. It's about a little over $100 for the year, and unlimited downloads. Commercial free for personal use. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing. You also have to check the license, but that's the case most of the time. And there are so many places to get great free images these days online, or if you're a painter, you can paint your own. There's lots of options. Okay, so let's hit this crop image button up here. I'm gonna get rid of this moon here, right on that edge here, and then I don't need this much space down here. So I'm gonna just kind of eyeball it. That feels about right for the bottom. And you just kind of click on the side, and there you go. Now the one thing we have to really make sure of, I'm gonna use my cut command, cut this for a second. You always have to keep your eye, see the left over here? You always have to keep your eye on this gray bar. We're about 725 right here. That's gonna give it, we have our space up here. We don't want the invitation going taller than 7. That's one of the limitations. So you have to be sort of cautious of that. So if I put my picture back where it is, you can see it pushed it down. It was here and the line went here. So we're gonna fix that. The first thing we're gonna do is click under the picture and, oops, click under the picture. There should be a return down here in the table, right? Well, that's pretty much it. Okay, so we'll click on the image, click on this image options button, and you get all of these things on the side of the screen, which is great. For size, we want to make sure it's exactly 5, so we're going to do that. the height is around 2 is fine. We'll just keep the aspect locked, and that means it's not going to stretch either way, so that's good. So hit return on that. And now, oh, look at that, I lost my W. Put that back in there. And then for text wrapping, you kind of have to play around with this sometimes. We're going to wrap the text, the middle one. See how it shifted? And margins from text, we're just going to hit 0 on all of these. And that moved my reception line back up. And then for position, we're going to move with the text. We're going to keep this at 0. The x-axis, we want it up with this line. And we know it's exactly 5, so that's going to be perfect. And this is looking good. And look at this. My Y, let's see. All right, that looks good. Now, sometimes what can happen is you might need to adjust this Y. Like, this is going to drop me too far down. I keep wanting to use my finger. Look on the left. If I do this, and if I do it too close, it'll just start to move my text a little and move my text under there. So I don't want that either, but I want to stay right here, that second tick under the 7. So come back to the Y and just, I think we were at 5, 2. And that is perfect. That is so great. Now, you might notice I'm going to scroll in, or zoom in, I mean, and I don't want this line here. So with this particular piece of art, I'm going to take advantage of the adjustments. You can even make adjustments. It's really cool. So I'm going to take my brightness and brighten this up a little bit, just a little bit. I don't want it to be too funky. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my contrast, just a little tiny tick. And let's see how we did. Hello. Perfect. So now that's white. And I just have my little faded watercolor mountains. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Let's go back to 100. So there is the front of your invitation. Now, for backers, you can do all sorts of things. You can leave it blank. You can put a pattern on there. I like to mix it up a lot. I think for now, we're going to take a little piece of this art. So I'm going to select on that and go ahead and do your copy, Command C, right? Just make sure I'm teaching you correctly. And let's click in the second column, paste that in there, but I don't want to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to click on this art again and go back to my crop tool. And I'm just going to kind of make a little section of some of the lighter. You know, you have to pay attention for ink if you're printing your own, or even if you're doing them for clients, that you're not using too much ink. You kind of want to make it the shape of the invitation. So click off that. And then I'm going to just drag it. These little handles pop up on your frame. And it'll show me that line, right? That red line, it's right there to the side. And then here. And then I want to move this to the bottom. So let's go to that. We want this at 0. There we go. And let's use our Y again. And just tick that down. Now make sure that line doesn't click over there. Just click just a tiny bit. So I'm going to go manually and just do a few at a time. Well, let's try 74. Well, that's closer. 75. Did I hear 75? And there we go. Ta-da! Oh my gosh! I love it. Let's go print it out and see how it looks. Ta-da! And here it is, all printed out. Look at that. A real wedding invitation that we made in Google Docs. Who would have thought that you could use such simple software to make something so nice, elegant, pretty, gorgeous. Love it. Thank you so much for sticking with me this whole time. I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. I would love, 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 love to see what you make if you use this technique. You can find me, links to everything, email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it below. And we're gonna have a course on wedding invitations coming up soon that I'm super excited about. So hop on our email list if you wanna stay connected with that. And that's really it. I can't thank you enough. This was a lot of fun. I'm Christy Kelly, and thanks for watching.